Hello, everybody,
Hi guys,
and welcome to another episode of In a Relationship. My name is Tumi Ramila,
and I'm Lestic Soul Shaker.
and this week's episode is actually titled Evolving in a Relationship. If you don't know what we're talking about, well, basically, we started a new series called In a Relationship. It's four-parted, and this is episode 2. Now, without wasting any time, let's get straight into this video.
Oh yes.
So first things first, right? Just like last time, just like the last episode, I'm going to start with a quote. This quote is by Oprah Winfrey. So excuse me if I am looking down. This is how the quote goes. The whole point of being alive is to evolve into the person you were intended to be. I totally agree with this quote. What about you, mister?
I totally agree, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This quote is absolutely perfect. We don't need to add anything onto that.
Nothing.
Yeah, let's just start with the questions. Let's just dive right into
Yeah.
it. So the first place that we've evolved in is in our communication, right?
That's true.
So let us elaborate a little bit on that. So I've always been a good communicator.
I had to learn how to be a good communicator.
Yeah, true. And not that I was perfect or anything.
Yeah.
I think in my communication, I was the type of person who was very instructive, because I remember you used to tell me I need to take my teacher hat off when I come home, because the way I would talk to you, it would be like I'm instructing you, and sometimes you would feel disrespected because you would feel like I am treating you like a child, or I'm instructing you to do something instead of asking you like an equal,
Yeah.
right? And you were the
How-
person who just
How was
you
I?
you didn't listen. Lestic didn't listen.
Yeah.
This guy didn't listen. Okay, he listened to answer.
Yeah.
He was not listening to understand what the other person was saying, or the other person being me in this scenario.
Yeah.
He wouldn't listen to what I wanted to say to understand it, but rather you listened
Yeah,
to
I
answer.
mean, like I just wanted to get my point across,
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to put it. I didn't know how to portray it because now I just wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't wait for someone to finish speaking. I'd already have the answer.
Yeah.
I'd be ready to speak.
Yeah.
I'd be cutting people off, yeah. So I had to learn. It was a process for me,
And sorry for cutting
Yeah.
you. Yeah, and I was saying, I'm sorry, my love, and I'm saying that and it's not that we have mastered it, we are still learning. Sometimes I still have my teacher hat on and I still say things like I'm instructing you, but I think we've gotten to a point where we understand that the intention is not to disrespect
That's true.
the other person, and the intention for you is not to cut me off,
Yeah.
but is to actually get your point across. But
Yeah.
right now you've gotten better at listening,
Yeah.
and you're actually listening to understand what I'm saying without getting offended, because I think the first thing that happens when you're new in a relationship, when you're just starting out, you get easily offended, like everything
true.
offends you,
Yeah.
right? And
that will not be my intention to offend you.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, it would be just my norm to speak like that.
Yeah.
But to you might be receiving it as if like, oh, this guy doesn't love me or doesn't value my opinions.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just wants to get his point across.
Yeah.
He doesn't care how I feel. He doesn't
Yeah.
care what I'm about to say. He just
Yeah.
wants to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. And so that is the first point. The first point that we've evolved in, or the first stage of like one of the things that we evolved in was communication.
Yeah.
And now we have gotten a bit better at it. And
Yeah.
it's something to really look at. If you're in a relationship, how you communicate with each other is always like the core thing.
Sure.
I've never watched a YouTube video or a sermon or whatever where they're speaking about marriage or being in a relationship where they don't mention communication. Like communication is the vital thing in marriage or
Yeah.
in like a relationship to actually look at. Like
Yeah,
how you communicate essentially the most important thing.
Yeah, that's true. Like communication can make or break a relationship.
That's very true again.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the second thing. The second thing was we evolved in our thought processes regarding each other, like in terms of each other, we really developed or evolved in our thought processes.
Sure.
What I mean by that, should I let you start? Or should I go first?
You can go first.
Yeah, what I mean by that is like every time like I would be with Mo, I would be looking at him as the arch enemy. You know, like this guy is coming to get me. That's what I thought. Like every time we would disagree or talk or just every time we were together, I loved him. I was getting to know him and we're in a relationship. But I felt like this guy's out to get me. Like every single time. Like he's pointing out what I do wrong. He's doing this and this and this. So he's out to get me.
Yeah.
And I was speaking from like an experience of like I have a background of psychology. Obviously, if you study for education, there's some psychology in there. And we are taught that, you know, when you address something, you do the sandwich method. If you don't know what that is. So you basically start with the good. And then in the middle, you put the bad, and then you end with the good. So obviously, Mo didn't have that training. I don't think like a lot of us had that training from when we were in high school, when we were teenagers, or growing up in general. I didn't have that until I got to varsity and studied that. So I was used to doing things in that manner, and you would just come at me, bro, guns blazing. You would just be like, bah, 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 bah. And I'd be like, this guy, I don't know if he loves me. And if he does love me, like, how is he showing his love? By just, you know, coming at me like that. But I had to get to a point where I'm just like, no, man, this person does not understand things the way you understand them. Therefore, again, we go back to the first one. Communication is vital. We sat down like adults and we spoke about it, and we were like, you know what, when you come at me like that, I feel like you are my enemy. I feel like you're always against me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you're always in defensive mode.
Yeah, yeah. You're always
you just
in
want to
defense
protect
mode.
yourself all the time.
Of course, because I feel attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, you don't have anything.
And for you, I'd say like, yeah, you were always like instructive, you know. Like I felt like you wanted things to go your way all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you were always imposing your opinions.
Yeah.
You always wanted your way to go through like that, you know. So, and I felt like, okay, this person is kind of like bossy and stuff, you know. That's what I thought of you. I thought like this person is kind of bossy and stuff.
Yeah.
But as we got to know each other more, and I could see that, okay, no, I was wrong about this person.
Yeah.
Maybe it's her personality type. This is how she is.
Yes.
She's like, I don't know how do they call it, like,
I'm a leader, I'm an
Yeah,
instructor.
you know,
I'm just like that
yeah.
person who just wants to get things done in a certain type of way. And I'm not gonna deny that. I am like the type of person, though I'm better now, I'm
Yeah.
the type of person who likes things to go a certain type of way.
But no,
And-
you know what I didn't like about that?
Yeah.
It's because I was also like that.
Yeah.
And it felt like we're clashing,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because I'm a born leader as well. You
Yeah.
know? And like I felt like I wanted my way and she wanted her way. So we'd
We
always
couldn't
fight
find
about that.
common ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to find like common ground and get to know each other. Like right now, I think we're getting there. We're better.
Yeah.
We know each other. And
Yeah.
We trust each other and we think great of each other.
Yeah, we try our best
Yeah.
to think good of each other, but like on a serious note, we do think like and see and seek for the best in each and like each of us, because then
Sure.
what's the point of being in a relationship if I'm just going to be digging up the dirt
Yeah.
that you have and you're going to be doing the same? Might as well quit, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And the next thing is that we evolving in intimacy. And I know that when I say intimacy, a lot of people are already thinking about sex. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, I found a definition on Google Dictionary. I don't know what it's called on Google. I Googled it and I found this definition and I actually loved it. It says, intimacy is a close familiarity or friendship You get what I mean? Like togetherness, other like synonyms for it were togetherness and closeness.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love
And
it too.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
we were not always like friends.
Sure.
I was not your
And now
friend.
we are like the best of friends.
Yeah, like there's nothing that happens in my life that I don't tell him, even though like I'm like, no, I'm not gonna tell him, you know. Of course, like secrets, friends' secrets and stuff like that, it's their privacy. I don't share that with him. But if I have something happening in my life, he knows about it. If there's something happening in his life, he knows about it. Like when something happens, the first person I call is him. I'm just like, dude, this just happened. You get what I mean?
Me too.
Yeah. And we become
Yeah.
best of friends. Like I think the foundation of our relationship after the 3 months that we're not really friends, the foundation of our relationship is friendship.
Sure.
Like we are more friends. Like I think that's why we can be there for each other when you are sick. I know how to be there for you. When you are down, I know how to be there for you. And the same goes for you. You know how to be there for me in my vulnerabilities and stuff like that. You even give me advice. You don't buy face. You know, we don't buy face.
Yeah, tell you straight.
Yeah, we tell each other straight.
That's not odd.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, even with your music, you make me listen. I'm the biggest critic ever.
Hey, do me guys. Yo.
So like
So break your heart.
Unintentionally so. Like I'll tell him this is not the one, bro. And he'll also tell me like if I'm preparing for school or if I get like a 50% on an exam, it's just like, but you didn't study. You know, like he is that person. He's my go-to person. I'm his go-to person. And it didn't just start like that, to be quite honest, because we didn't know, right? How to, like, I don't think there's a formula for like a relationship. There isn't.
No, I think as you grow old together, you know, as you like become close and as you keep on loving each other, as you keep on improving on your bad things and stuff,
Yeah,
you end up like, you know, getting to be friends.
yeah,
So
but it wasn't always like that. Like at first we thought like relationships are just that, like where a boyfriend and a girlfriend, a man and a woman get in a relationship or whatever. We just get into
like that.
We don't have to become friends. But then what improved our intimacy as well is going to premarital counseling. I'm not gonna lie, that helped us a lot. Going to premarital counseling helped our relationship a lot. So if you are thinking about it, or you know, you're very skeptical about it, I would suggest that you try it out and then let us know. You know?
Sure.
All right. The next one, the next place that we evolved in is evolving in our faith. So, for those of you who don't know, we are Jesus junkies. We are Jesus followers. We are Christians. We believe in the Bible. We believe in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So, we are believers. We are Christians. And our faith evolved greatly. Like being together, I think being with you tested my faith. It tested my faith. It challenged me in terms of our faith, you know. And I remember like when we first started out, when we moved in together, we had like individual relationships with God. Like he had his own relationship with God. I had my own relationship with God, and that was messy. That was so messy. That was so messy. And we had to get to a point again through premarital counseling, right? Through premarital counseling, we got to a point of understanding that we need to have a relationship as a couple with God together. Yes, it's okay. It's all good and well to have a relationship by yourself with God, but it's also very, very important that you have a relationship with God together. And what has that done for you? Like, what have you seen that it's done in our relationship? Like having that togetherness and having that relationship with God together.
I don't even know where to start, but like a lot has happened, Joe. Like a lot has happened. I've seen God's goodness through this relationship. I've seen like God. I truly believe that God is like, God does exist. I've seen him, bro. Like from where we started, Joe. Like remember we started staying in a one room.
We stayed in someone's
Yeah.
back like house, like
Yeah.
in the same yard.
It was a
It was-
cottage.
yeah.
Yeah, like a low-grade cottage. and stuff.
Low grade cottage. It was not a low grade. It was just like it was more like a mini cottage, you know,
Yeah, it
because
was
it
a
had a
mini
little
cottage.
kitchenette and then it had like a
But it was
bathroom.
nice.
It was
It was
good.
nice.
It was our own space.
Yeah, it
you
was
know,
nice.
we enjoyed staying there.
Yeah.
We turned it into a home.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I wasn't working at that time. I was only depending on gigs.
Yeah.
And she was working as
Yeah.
a teacher.
Yeah.
And sometimes she'd be the one who's paying like everything. To
Yeah.
Like I'd be broke and not having anything. Like
Yeah.
she'd be saying like, okay, man, I got you. We're gonna do this thing together.
Yeah.
We started this thing together, so
Yeah.
we're gonna keep on going.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes she'd buy food. I mean, she was always there. You know.
Yeah. And
Then we had to move back home. Yo, that was a disaster. We
Yeah,
had to
that
move
was
back
very
home.
that was a disaster.
Yeah, we had to move back home, and yo,
That was bad.
It was
But
very
you know,
bad,
I
eh?
just wanted to add, babe, on the thing that you were saying. I was like, I have your back and we are in this together. It was not by my own strength that I was like, oh yeah, I've got this. I've always had the mentality that, you know what, I didn't date him because he was a billionaire. You know, I dated him because of his heart.
Sure.
I dated him because of who he is. And whether he had money or he didn't, to me, it didn't change his status. I didn't disrespect you because you were not working,
Yeah,
first
you
of all.
didn't.
I didn't disrespect you or treat you any different
Sure.
because you didn't have an income at that time.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because that didn't define who you were as a person.
Sure.
And I think if I did not have Jesus, I wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, if I was not in sync with what God wanted me to do, with what God wanted for my life, because I knew that this was the man for me. From the get-go, I knew this was the man for me because I had prayed. I had specifically prayed. I said to God, because I was tired of these boys in the streets. You know, I was tired of these boys. I was just like, you know what, God? Stop it. I was like, you know what, God? The man that is going to be for me, I just have only one thing, one request, is that I will tell him my past as raw, as like authentic as possible. I'm going to tell him my past, and I'm going to let him get to know me, the present me, for himself. If he accepts my past for what it is, then that man is for me. Then I'll know, like, he was sent by you. You know, he's for me. And you know what? I texted this guy. We were texting. I texted him. I told him everything. I sent him a voice note telling him every single thing I had done in the past. And the reason I did this is because I've been rejected a lot because of my past, you know. But I was like, the guy that's for me will know about my past from the get-go, because me, I'm that type of person. Shem, we go on the first date. I will tell you my whole life story. I'll tell you my whole life story, and I'm not ashamed of it. Anyway, I told him, I sent him a voice note, and this guy didn't respond for like a good 30 minutes. And I thought to myself, I was not bothered. To be quite honest, I was not bothered. I was just
still
like, yeah,
thinking, yeah.
it's fine. If he's just like, no, then I just know it's not for me. You know, and then he came back and he said the most beautiful thing. He said, we all have pasts, and I'm not going to judge you based on what you've done. It's not my job to do that. My job is to accept you for who you are, because you've accepted me for who I am. I will never forget that. That for me was just like ding, 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 ding. You know, and that's another way that, like, you know, in our relationship, faith has worked for us. I remember, like, we used to have times where I'm just like, I can go to him and say, babe, I don't have faith. I don't have faith for anything. And he will say, I will have it for the both of us, you know, and that goes for him as well. When I don't have faith, when he doesn't have faith, or he doesn't trust that God is there, you know, because that happens in your faith.
Yeah.
I pray for him.
Yeah.
And I saw this thing on social media. I think it was on Instagram, and I follow this page called Trust God Bro or something like that. And they had posted something like, it said, when the person you prayed for becomes the person you pray with, you know. And that's
good.
yeah, right. And that's how I feel about us, because I prayed for someone that's gonna accept my past for what it was. And what did you pray for?
I
in a
pray,
partner.
I pray for like a partner who believes in God. That was very important for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was an answered prayer. And God, like from the moment we got together, God has shown us his faithfulness,
It's
his
shown us,
goodness
Joe,
over and over
like so
and
much.
over.
Yeah, man, God has really been faithful, Looking at where we come from to where we are now, like God has really been good.
That's true.
Yeah, like I mean, like right now we're living in the most biggest blessing we could have ever even imagined.
We're living in a miracle.
It's a miracle,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
And we didn't even go put out a CV for it.
Yeah.
It came to us,
Yeah,
It
yeah.
came to us. It's to show that God has been saying, guys, I'm watching. I'm there. I'm watching.
True.
That's his faithfulness, That's how much faith is important, because now, like we've gone through a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
the challenges, the circumstances, like trusting the process was what we knew. We had to trust the process.
Yeah.
And our character has been developed because of that,
And trusting the process isn't easy.
It's not easy
When people say trust the process, they make it sound like it's
hard,
it's just easy. It's just something you do. It's not.
We're talking about lights being off,
Yo,
like eating like pap and cabbage and stuff.
that's normal food.
Yeah, it's normal food, but like
Every
come on,
day.
yeah,
It was every
not
day.
nice, yo.
Yeah.
Until,
Yeah.
but now we are in the biggest miracle of our lives. and
Yeah.
it's all by the grace of God,
True.
and we appreciate that.
True.
It shows that me and you, we keep on evolving. We are not where we used to be. We might not be where we wanna be, like
In
specifically
life,
in life, but we are not where we are used to be. And
Where we used to
where
be
we
at.
are right now, we are happy, we are content. It's by the grace of God. So I believe our faith has evolved in such a way that is miraculous.
Yeah. And I think if there's one thing that we know, right, about, like, we've gotten to a point as a couple where we know for a fact that if something just sort of falls into our lap, it's from God.
It's from God.
But if we have to fight for it, then it's like
it's not even coming.
I know. Let's just relax, know. But every single time God is about to do something in our life, as a couple, we've seen that it just comes.
It comes by
we don't
itself.
go looking for it. It just comes to us. Then we know it's from God.
Sure.
All right. And the last evolving point is evolving financially.
Oh yes.
By this I don't mean that like we've gotten our monies together, we are rich. We'll get there, but not yet. But what I mean is, like, we used to make just like our spiritual life, or rather in our faith, where we had individual relationships, we also had individual relationships with money.
That's true.
Like, his money was his money, my money was my money. But if you're a couple and you're staying together, that's not a
we
viable
never
thing.
knew better.
We didn't. We didn't know better. Like, right now, we've gotten to a place where, in terms of our finances, like, not even one rent goes out.
Sure.
And the other one doesn't know where the one rent went. We hold each other accountable. Like, there were times when, I had money in my account and he knew how much was in my account. And then your girl went to do her hair and her nails and stuff like that. And I didn't communicate that. And he'd be like, okay, babe, you had 500 rands in your account and now you have 50 cents. What happened?
Sure.
And I would have to account for everything that I did. And he's just like, but you didn't say. This was not the plan. You get what I mean? And the same has happened.
And same with me.
With you.
And I used to struggle a lot with that, I tell myself,
mad.
okay, you know what? I'm gonna tell her what am I gonna do? Then the money comes. Then I start spending.
Over.
And I have to go tell you after that, no, babe, I did this and that. And you'd be like,
he would be coming to me with his tail between his legs, and he would be coming and saying, you know what, babe, this is what I did with the money, and thinking I would react some type of way. But I think because of us evolving in our relationship,
Sure.
I have realized that we all make mistakes, even money mistakes. We
Yeah.
make money mistakes,
And that's how you
And
learn.
That's how you learn.
from your mistakes.
Exactly.
That you won't do it again.
Yeah.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, Lynn and I used to come with my tail between my legs and be like,
Sure.
"Oh, babe, I spent it,"
Sure.
And he would not react in a way that, like, "Yeah, when are you just spending money and doing this and do?" I think that's the wrong approach, because then I don't think there's ever been a moment in our relationship where we were productive or learned something through the other one being the one who condemns the other one, or the one that shouts at the other
Sure.
one. We've never really had learned
Yeah.
anything in those situations.
Actually, you won't learn anything. if
You
someone,
won't.
Like, does that to you. Like,
You won't.
If they inflict a point or something,
Yeah.
like they wanna get their point across like
Yeah,
that.
It
it's
doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't help
disrespectful.
me. Me coming to you, already I know what I've done.
Sure.
I don't need you to come and condemn me. And this reminds me of the love of Christ, because exactly how we go to Christ, when we go to him, he does not condemn us, because he knows exactly that we know that we
Yeah.
were wrong. You get what
Sure.
I mean? So when he comes to me, I'm able to extend the same grace and say, okay, you spent this money, you know what you've done. Okay, what's gonna happen next time? How are we doing this? How are we getting better?
Yeah.
The whole point of evolving, right? The whole point of evolving is to get to a point of who you were intended to be, like
Yeah.
Oprah said,
Yeah.
right? And how can you get to a point of being the person you were intended to be if I always criticize, speak down on you, or whatever? If you come to me with a mistake and I criticize you, you won't be able to come to me with mistakes anymore.
Yeah.
And that prevents you from growing. That prevents me from growing.
Yeah.
That prevents me from evolving, and it prevents you from evolving as well.
Yeah, and I've heard a quote say, like, there are two most important days in your life.
Yeah.
The day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
being who you are intended to be. Like,
Yeah.
living out your purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to get to that purpose, you need to be ever evolving,
That's
right?
true.
That's the whole point of life, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is to evolve and become the person eventually that you were supposed to be.
Sure.
All right, and that concludes this week's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please talk to us in the comment section down below. Tell us what are you doing to evolve, in what ways have you evolved, and if there's some steps or some things that we didn't mention here, please let us know in the comment section down below. We appreciate you. We appreciate the fact that you like. We appreciate the fact that you comment, and that you keep sharing. We will see you guys in the next episode. Love you lots. Goodbye.
Love you.